Good evening. Welcome. My name is Pieter Brinkman, and I'm a home automation enthusiast since 2010. I've seen my fair amount of home assistant systems. I've started with Demotics. I used OpenHAB, and since the last 2 years, I'm using Home Assistant. And I cannot say anything else, and I'm very excited. It's the release cadence, the quality of build, but also the great community that surrounds this platform. It's really great to be part of, and I'm happy to share something back to this community today. So if I only got 30 minutes today, so I need to speed up a bit. So I want to make sure that you all be aware that I'll publish my blog articles at least tomorrow, maybe tonight on my blog. So everything will be available for you to find tomorrow. And if you have any questions, you can always find me on Twitter or on Discord. So there's multiple places where you can find me. So before we dive in on the story on how I make this Fireplace smart, I want to make you aware that I am not a developer. I've developed most of my life professional, yes, that's true. In the last 6 years, I haven't done any professional program. I moved on in my work and my career, I don't program. Yes, I can read code, but I won't be able to create a full integration. I'm also not an electrician. Like, I'm colorblind. I can barely see the wiring, let alone resistance. Every time I need a resistor, I buy a new package which labels the name on it so I can use it. It's very painful. So that should reassure you that although this is an advanced session, it is not that advanced. It will have some configuration, some wiring, with no soldering and no programming. So that is a short introduction. So let's dive into what we're doing here today and how I made my Fireplace smart and how we can make other devices smart. So before we dive into my Fireplace, I do want to talk about the different ways how you can make devices smart. It doesn't need to be as complex as building custom things. So I noted 4 different things to make your devices smart, and they're pretty obvious, and some are really easy, like the first one. But I truly think this is really important for you to understand. The first thing you should do is you should always search for integrations. So get your device and search for Hagio.device. I know in the keynote that I'm wrong about Hagio, but it's really nice, unique word, which Google's really well, but I'm going to use Home Assistant in the future, of course, now. But if you look at Home Assistant, it got 1,700 integrations out of the box. And then you have Hacks, which has countless other integrations. So the chances of your device not being there is in general really, really small. But if that for some reason isn't there, you should start investigating the remote, if any. So open the remote, right? The remote could be an infrared remote. It could be a 433 remote or as a ZigBee or a Z-Wave. The goal here is to open the remote and find the chipset and start Googling on that, because multiple manufacturers use the same chipset. If that doesn't work and your device in any way connects to your network with Wi-Fi or UTP, then you can start sniffing the traffic that the device does. But this is where it truly gets really advanced, because then you need to start reverse engineering the API. I do want to point out that this is a very solid option. And if you do reverse and engineer an API, I do want to stress out to, again, contribute this back to this community. So get others involved to help you to make it better, and then everyone can benefit from it. Then the 4th option that we have here is build your own solution. Basically, if you have any device or any remote, you can make it smart. You can add a relay to it. It's basically an electronic switch, and that will switch that for you. So open your device, start wiring, start soldering. It will work. I'll introduce you today to ESP Home, how you can easily do this, option number 4, and how I did this for my Fireplace. So I already pointed twice to this Fireplace. So let me quickly do an introduction on the Fireplace. So 3 years ago, my wife and I, we built this beautiful home. We live here very well, and we wanted to have one of these propane fireplaces or gas fireplaces, however you want to call them. So when Googling and searching for a fireplace, I found a Bellfire. It had a remote that communicated on 433, which is unencrypted. It might not be the best solution, but at least I could automate it. So when we got the Fireplace and we moved in, I think day 1 or day 2, I wanted to automate the Fireplace. So here we go. Let's dive into how that story went for automating my Fireplace. So as I say, the first thing I want to do is capture that 413 megahertz signal with an Airfax com. So I set it up. I got my own Airfax com. I got an old one from the old days, and I was ready to go. So I put it on. Nothing happened. No results. Which which really worried me. So I started Googling. I figured out the new remote was based on an encrypted Zigbee. So I couldn't use this remote. There was no documentation, no information. So this option was out. So back to the drawing board. So bring me to option number 2. Again, Bellfire being the brand, I searched for Bellfire home automation. So not home assistant, but home automation, the bigger sense of the word in there, making sure that I find and capture anything. So I was pretty happy to find that the manufacturer had a Wi-Fi module. But of course, they didn't supply an open API. You could only use it with their mobile app, which again, for me, useless. That's not how I want to work with things in my home. So what next? Next step is opening the maintenance ledge. So I went down here, you'll see it later on, and I'll open it, and I found something which is called the controller. And the controller is from a different brand. It's called Mertic Maxitrol, which gave me a lead. So I started Googling for that. I found the manual, and then I found that this Maxitrol had 4 pins that you could use for external usage. Pretty vague, but gave me hope. Even more Googling, I found manual for the pin usage. So if you can see here, and I'm aware it's a bit small, but the top line says you can start ignition if you close contact 1 and 3 for 2 seconds simultaneously. Boom. You can turn it off by closing 1, 2, 3 for 1 second simultaneously. So this means that I can control my fireplace. But now I need to get started. I need to find something where I can electrically switch these different pins, right? I need to do 1 and 3 for 2 seconds, 1, 2, 3 for 1 second. How am I going to do this? So as I say, I need an electrical switch. And an electrical switch is basically a relay. So let's do a quick introduction in what a relay is. So basically a relay, again, electrical switch, it has 2 circuits, the control circuit and the load circuit. The control circuit is basically where you press the button. If you switch the control circuit, the load circuit will change. They're separated. There's no current will go from the control circuit to the load circuit. So basically this is foolproof. There's not much that can go wrong here. So I needed 3 relays. So I found this Chinese cheap relay board, $2 to $8 on your favorite Chinese web shop. If we look at the left on this board, it has 6 entries. Starting on top, power, you needed 5-volt power, DC minus, and then you have 4 ins. These 4 ins correlate with the responding right-hand side relays. So there's 4 relay blocks there, the big blue box. And every relay there on the outside has 3 exits. Normal closed, COM, and normal open. So let's quickly look at what that means. So basically you always connect the COM. So that's the common line. But now you need to make that circuit. So either you pick the normal close or the normal open. If you select the normal open, which is the most normal, in general you would probably use a normal open. But if you use a normal open, it means if the control circuit is open, is not connected, your load circuit will also be open and not a circuit. If you use normal close, then the default state will be closed. So the circuit will be closed. But if you close the control circuit, then it will go open. So it's just switching how it will work. So in my case, I need to use the normal open. So now we had switches, right? But we need to control these switches. We need to wire those in to control the different switches to use. So we're going to use the ESP boards. And ESP boards in general are just low-cost Wi-Fi chips. So they have flash memory built in. You can flash it and they will run on your own. They're amazing. There are countless ways of boards, endless boards. A few pointers here. I advise you to use a development board because they come with USB-C and the pins are pre-soldered. So there's no solder needed and you can just start using it instantly. If you want to do things like I did with the flower sensors I have here in my home, you use Bluetooth, then you need to use an ESP32 board. One other thing I want to point out here is on the top there, you see the hardware name and the software name. It's something you need to be aware of. So on the board, there's D numbers printed, D1, 2, 3, and 4. And on the right-hand side, there are GPO numbers, which are corresponding. So as soon as you start configuring these boards or programming on the boards, you need to use the software names, not the hardware names. So that's just something you need to know. And again, we'll get back to it later on. So now we have the switches. We have a board to control it. but how are we gonna control and create the sequences? How are we gonna connect with Home Assistant, for example? This is where ESP Home comes in. So ESP Home is basically firmware that you flash on your ESP board. It's really powerful. It's easy to work with. There's basically no programming needed. You can program on it, but you don't need to because there's countless of devices supported out of the box. The cool thing, it has seamless integration with Home Assistant. And as soon as you flash it once with using USB, then you can flash it over the air using your Wi-Fi. It's really cool. So now we have everything, right? We have the switches, we have the hardware, we have the ESP Home. So how are we all gonna make this work? So let's go back one level. Let's do an overview. So the first thing that we're gonna do here is we're going into Home Assistant, and as an add-on, we're gonna install the ESP Home add-on. We can create a vanilla node, an ESP Home node, and create some vanilla firmware. So then we need to flash that ESP Home firmware on that chip. As soon as we flash that, ESP Home will provide that connectivity using Wi-Fi connecting to Home Assistant. That way you can start using those pins to address the relays. So now we can start wiring the relays. As soon as we do it, we need to go back to ESP Home. We need to configure how do the switches need to work, right? How do we build in the sequence? So 1 and 3 for on, 1 to 3 for off, right? We just saw on the manual. So as soon as we've done that, we flash that new firmware over the air back on the board, and then we can wire the Fireplace. If everything goes well, which should be in about 15 minutes, boom, the Fireplace will lit. I'll grab my beer here and I'll watch the closing keynote in about 20 minutes with a nice warm Fireplace. All right, there we go. Time to do it. 15 minutes, hopefully, more or less. All right, let's go into the first part. So here you see my home automation system. So again, I go into Supervise, I go into the add-on store, and I look for ESP Home. I already have it installed. Make sure you add it normally to your sidebar so you can easily access. So if you click ESP Home, you'll see I already have this MiFlora node here, but we're gonna add another node here for our Fireplace. So you click plus, you give the name, I call it Demo Fireplace, and then you need to select your device. So this is your board. Countless of boards are supported. This shows the list of boards that's supported. Again, we're gonna use this ESP8266 Node MCU board I just shown you. So you click next and you provide your Wi-Fi details. Very important, of course, that you enter the correct Wi-Fi details here, otherwise it won't connect. And then you need to set your OTA password. And you need this later on to connect with Home Assistant. So now we click submit. You'll see the Demo Fireplace node with a red bar, it's not connected. Because we need to flash that firmware and compile it and then flash the firmware. So while compiled, let's go to the ESP Home page. So esphome.io. And again, you can find all the information also on the getting started. Very good documentation. There's also a guide, but we're looking for the USB flasher to do the initial flash. So you can find it in FAQ. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see the tool down below. That's what I'm going to use, and you can download that from the release pages. So in my case, I'm using Windows, so I'll download the Windows version. But again, if you use macOS or Linux, you can download, of course, the other versions. So let's download the tool and open it. Let me get it from the other window. All right. So my board is already connected with USB, just micro USB. So if I refresh this, you'll see it as a COM port open. So I use COM4 here. Now I need to get my firmware. So let's see if it's compiled. Scroll down, it's successful. Now I can download the binary. So basically this is the vanilla firmware that we need to flash on the chip. So go back to the flash tool, we click browse, and we select our firmware. And using that firmware, we'll then connect to Home Assistant. 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, so as soon as I click flash now, you'll see that it starts erasing the memory, the flash chip, and then it will start writing on the flash chip. As soon as that's done, it will connect to the Wi-Fi details you provided, and then it will open itself, and it will broadcast itself on the network, and Home Assistant will pick it up. Let's give it a moment. All right, you see all the access points nearby. You see it's connecting, and then you need to see that the API server address is ready, and now it will broadcast, and Home Assistant will pick it up. So either it will show you in notifications that the new device is available for configuration, or you need to go to config and integrations, of course. Let's click notifications. It's there. Check it out. Go to the integrations page, and there's the demo Fireplace. So I click configure, and this is where I need to provide a password, demo, the OTE password. So I provide demo, boom, submit, and now you'll see it will move to the ESP Home. So I got now 2 devices there. If I click the Fireplace, you will see that inside the Fireplace, I only have a device, but I have no entities there because we haven't configured any entities. So let's start now with wiring up the relay to the ESP board. So on the right hand side, you'll see the wiring chart, which is much clearer than what I'm doing here, but I do want to show you the different D pins. So we're using pin D5 to D7 to connect to the corresponding ports. So let's just quickly go over the different ports in the relay, right? So you can see them again on the wiring on the right. So the top one is the power. We drain 5 volts directly from the board. The black one is the ground. So we connect it back on. And then here we got orange D7 going to in 1, D6 yellow going to in 2, and then blue D5 going to in 3. And here we go. And then we got it all wired up. That's it. No soldering, no nothing. So now we can go back to the ESP Home configuration. So we can click Edit, which will show the configuration window. So we're going to add a switch here. And again, I know it's a bit small. I'll post it in my blog post. So I'll copy the code in, and then we'll quickly run through it because we're going to create 3 switches to control all the relays. So we're going to create 3 switches. The platform type will be GPO, and that's where the numbers come in. So there will be different GPO numbers corresponding with the digital pins. So you see the GPOs that we're using, 13 and 14. I'll quick upload, and now we'll directly flash again the chipset, but this time using Wi-Fi. So it will compile, and now it will send over. Now it will send it over the Wi-Fi, and then you'll see it will flash itself, and now it will reset, and then it will connect again to the Wi-Fi. So here you go. It's uploading the binary. As soon as it's uploaded, it will reset itself, and this might take a few tries, right? Because the device is not online, so the console will try to reach it based on its address. So give it a moment, and as soon as this shows up, then we can go into the device again and see how we can control the relays. All right, connected to the Wi-Fi. That's good. Let's open a configuration. This time in a new tab. Go to the integrations, find the Fireplace, and here you go. We got 3 entities. So let's click on the device. Let's test if it works. So now if I switch the first switch, you'll see that the first relay will go on. Let me point it out a bit better. So here you go. If I go to number 2, the LED will indicate that the relay is on. Number 3, and it will indicate that relay is on. So now I can directly from Home Assistant control the different relays on my board. So now we need to create that timing. So let's go again back to the editor, right? Let's go back to ESP Home and click Edit. So we need to add that sequence to turn on the Fireplace. We're going to create a switch here, and the switch is called Fireplace Ignition. It's of the type template, so it's a bit different than the other one, so we can program the sequence out. We're going to use the names of the switches that we created up there. And here we go. So there's a turn on action and a turn off action. So the turn on action, we need to have as a documentation set pin 1 and 3 on for 2 seconds. And then we turn it off again. Make sure you publish the switch back, otherwise Home Assistant will turn it back off again. So that's just something you need to know about if you use the platform template here. So the turn off action, that was the relay 1, 2, 3 for 1 second, and then again we turn them off, and then make sure you publish again the state. So we'll click upload. Again, we'll compile the firmware. It will send over the binary over the Wi-Fi, and the chip will update its firmware itself, and it will reset. So again, uploading. All right, one moment. All right, should come through any moment. So as soon as it picks it up, again, it will notify Home Assistant that there's now a new entity. All right, let me look at this. Fireplace, API server address. Yep, this should be it. All right, perfect. So now I can go towards the configuration that I have opened there, the tab, and you'll see automatically the Fireplace ignition is there. So if I click on, it will go 1 and 3 for 2 seconds, and then it will turn off again. So 1 and 3, boom, and off. Then if I say the ignition off, 1, 2, 3 will go on for 1 second, and the Fireplace will go off. All right, so that's it. Now we're ready to start working on the wiring out. So let me quickly explain you the wiring out again. All right. So on the right hand, you'll see again the wiring out schema, which is a bit more clear than what I'm trying to do with my hands. But let's start with the green cables. And again, if it's not green, I do apologize for my color blindness. But that's the common, right? So this is where we connect everything to make a circuit. And that green one will go into pin number 0 all the way on top in the control module. And then we have the different relays. So number orange will go into pin 1, yellow, pin 2, and blue will go to pin number 3. All right, so that's how it's gonna work. So now the most painful moment will come quickly where I need to connect this to my Fireplace. All right, let me, all right, bear with me. All right, so I got my 12 open. I'll connect the camera later on up to it. So I do number green on 1, orange, or green on 0, orange on 1. Yep, yellow on 2, blue. All right, blue on that one. Good to go. All right, we're ready to test. 1 second. Let me grab this. This is live action. All right, a bit down maybe. All right, so this is the controller basically. You can see the pins going in here in the panel. The relays are here on the board, and the ESP is lying here on his side. Let me go back to my window here. So everything goes correct here. If I press Fireplace on, you can see the relays lighting up 1 and 3, and then the Fireplace should respond to that. Exciting moment. All right, that's good. So you hear the clicking sound of the controller, which is a good sign. You can hear the Fireplace doing stuff. Everything goes well. I don't know if you can see the pilot flame up there. The pilot flame's already burning, so that's a very good sign. So give it a moment. I can hear the valve going open. And there's the fire. All right. That's it. All right, perfect. Look at me with my fire. All right, so as closing, I said I would open a beer to start with for less part because it worked out. I'm always happy when a live demo works out. So cheers on that. As a closing, I do want to point out it's not hard to make smart devices or dumb devices smart. Just you need to Google, and again, the community's been amazing. If you look on the forums, if you use Google, there's so much modules out there. So the chance that you can make things smart is always there. Go ahead and check out ESP Home. It is really easy. It integrates seamlessly with Home Assistant. So anything where you want to do, just check out the list. Don't be scared if you look at all the different sensors they support. It's really impressive. But You can look at their example projects, and that will definitely help you. And with that, I do want to thank you. And again, the blog post will be ready soon. I'll go to the Q&A session in the next 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to join that. And see you soon, and thank you for watching.